Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we are reviewing the Galaxy S20 Ultra, and Samsung put a lot of effort towards their S20 series. They are the new spec kings in every single way. However, how these specs translate to actual usage is something that we have to determine together. As you can tell by the title, I am returning my S20 Ultra, and I'm going to tell you guys why exactly, what I'm switching to next, and if you guys can help me decide whether that is the correct decision. So quickly we'll go over some specs. Unlike the Note, this base is at 128 gigabytes of storage rather than 256 gigabytes. There's micro SD card expansion, 12 gigabytes of RAM at base. So as for the 128 gigabytes of storage, I believe that should be the standard. It is enough, especially with micro SD expansion, so that is more than fine with me. The 12 gigabytes of RAM is amazing. You can pin stuff to make sure it never closes and it's always ready, which is phenomenal, especially on a speed standpoint. The Snapdragon 865 has 5G built in, and it's a solid improvement from the 855, which was a very good chip in itself. And then finally, I'll just discuss the $1,400 price tag, which we will get to later when I am explaining why I'm returning this device. Now let's get into the different aspects of the phone itself. First, we have the display. On my Note 10 Plus, the display was one of the best aspects of the phone. I said I only had two complaints, that it was only a 60Hz display and that it was curved. In the S20 Ultra, we have a very quick 120Hz display right here. We have edges that are a lot more flat and prevent accidental touching. You still get those amazing Samsung colors, a great screen to body ratio with an even smaller punch out, and overall a pleasure to use when watching content on your phone. So let's show you guys real quickly YouTube and what it looks like. So this is what a normal video will look like. Now, in comparison to Note, the black bars are a little further out due to the taller aspect ratio of the S20 Ultra, but it still is a great viewing experience and I really enjoy it. Now, in a 16:9 aspect ratio like Linus shoots in, there is no hole punch protrusion. It's an overall great experience to watch in. I really enjoyed watching YouTube on this phone. Now we'll quickly show you the sound. I think we're going to do the 7th generation one. It's very good with the iPad OS, and it's a nice little thing for college students like. So as you may know, my mic quality is probably not the best one, but from what I've watched, the S20 Ultra beat the Note 10 in sound quality and is on par with the iPhone in terms of their speakers. They are fantastic in this model and I highly recommend them. Next, we'll quickly talk about the camera. As you can see, we have an ultra wide mode, a huge 100x zoom, 30x zoom, 10x. Its zoom is the best I've ever seen in a phone, but I've already showed you in the full camera comparison, which we'll also link in the description, how it fares against a phone like the iPhone 11 Pro Max, where it kills it on a hardware standpoint, but huge in the smartphone camera game. I'll still give you a few samples of what I got on this phone. As for the battery life, I think we have a new battery king. The iPhone 11 Pro Max was before my battery king, but the 5000 mAh battery has made this phone very comparable, even at 120 Hz. If I were to put this phone at 60 Hz, I have no doubt that it would be a 2-day phone, but I end off the day with like 50% if I'm on lighter usage and 40 even with the 120 Hz display on. Furthermore, there's not much to worry about because the charging speed on the phone is also extremely quick. You get that same 25-watt charger that comes with the Note 10, and you can get the 45-watt charger if you want for a little bit extra speed. As for gaming, this phone is a pleasure to use on gaming. The Snapdragon 865 can handle anything. It's really good, and I'll do my quick little Minecraft test that I do in a lot of my reviews. As you can see, there's no frame skipping or anything. I'm not sure if this is in 120 Hz. I don't think it is. Oh, this time we got rain. Haven't had that in a video yet, but first time for everything. So as you can see by that little quick test, it can handle gaming quite easily. That time it didn't keep it in the RAM, maybe partially because I took the camera out, but I could always pin it if I wanted to, so I'm not too worried about that. If there's a game you frequently play, I suggest pinning it. Let me show you exactly how to pin it. So you just go here, you go there and hit keep open for quick launching, and then it will pin it to your RAM. Make sure it's very easily accessible and that you don't have to wait for loading times. To take it off, all you have to do is just click right there. And quickly, we'll talk about Samsung Pay because I've said this about every single Samsung phone I've reviewed. Samsung Pay is huge for me. I see a lot of those card readers that don't take NFC, which is used by Apple Pay and Google Pay, and Samsung Pay has NFC as well, but the MST works great everywhere and I never have a problem. I could leave my wallet at home with confidence that I'll be able to pay using Samsung Pay. Finally, we'll talk about One UI, and One UI has been a huge improvement since the TouchWiz days. I have found no need to put a launcher on One UI devices. I really like the accessibility with one hand, even though you'll never reach the top up there. This is a very tall aspect ratio, but One UI brings everything down, makes it a lot easier to use with one hand, and I really enjoy it. I have never found any lag on One UI, unlike on TouchWiz, and I really enjoy the Android 10 version of One UI with the Google gestures and the little refinements to everyday use. The animations look so clean, and I'm glad that Samsung finally has some good software on their phones. My only gripe with One UI is there's a lot of duplicate applications, and I'm not really a fan of how the icons look. So you can see this is a Samsung one, this Samsung right there, gallery. I wish they looked a little more refined, but that's a personal preference thing. Not everybody might think that. Quickly, I'll also talk about device care, which I like. So right here, I really enjoy the battery usage that you can see, the storage, and the memory that you can all change. And looks like I gotta activate security. Haven't done that, but nevertheless, I really enjoy Samsung's device care settings. We have Disney Plus. This is what Disney Plus will look like on your phone. Looks pretty good, and it did keep it open, so 12 gigabytes of RAM, huge. So now let's segue into why I'm returning this. And right here you see the Galaxy S20 Plus 5G. And for the most part, this phone has very similar aspects to the Ultra, and it costs less. It's hard for me to justify the $1,400 price point. I understand that Samsung put a lot into this phone hardware-wise. They did an amazing job, but for the most part, I feel that I can get a lot of this phone out of the S20 Plus 5G and still be happy with my usage. The 6.7-inch display should feel slightly better, but I don't expect a huge difference there. The things I love most, the 120Hz display, the solid battery life, and the camera are going to be quite similar to the S20 Plus, although 500 more milliamps on the battery is significant, so I do understand that. But overall, I don't think for my usage that I need this beast of a phone. It's amazing, it's incredible. If you can afford it, get it. But for me, I think I might go to the S20 Plus or the Pixel 4 XL just to try something new. Let me know what you guys think. Which phone should I get next? This phone is within the 15-day return period, which is why I am returning it as soon as possible now. But I'd love to hear all your thoughts. So subscribe if you're new, comment down below if you're a returning subscriber. Thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you all, and peace.